Kylie Jenner was recently named the youngest self-made billionaire ever by Forbes magazine.
Becoming a billionaire isn't something that typically happens before you hit your 30s. I mean, it rarely happens even after you hit your 30s either. But that situation is not true for a couple of people who got to $1 billion before they were 30. Some of them made it by taking the easiest route, from just inheriting it, while some had to actually work for it. So today, we're going to look at some of the youngest billionaires in the world. But first, a simple reminder on how to enter our brand new giveaway. We will be giving away either an iPhone X Max, the new iPad mini, or a MacBook Pro. It's all your choice. So be sure to leave a like, comment the keyword, subscribe, and turn on notifications to enter the giveaway. It's really that simple. First, we are going to start with Kylie Jenner at only 21. Although many of us have been keeping up with the Kardashians for a while now, it just may have escaped our notice that the baby of the clan joined the Billionaire Club a year ago at the age of just 21, which made her the youngest self-made billionaire ever. Now, while Kylie does come from a wealthy family that has become even wealthier in part due to their heavy television presence, that's not all there is to Kylie. Kylie Cosmetics was valued a year ago at $900 million by Forbes, and guess what? Kylie owns all of it. Throw in the millions she made elsewhere, and she comfortably tips the billion-dollar scale. It's also interesting to note that the person she had to take over to become the world's youngest billionaire ever was Mark Zuckerberg, the owner of Facebook. Of course, we all know now that because of what Zuckerberg created, Kylie is partially in the position she's in. Next, we have Alexandra and Katerina Andreessen at $1.2 billion each. Sisters Alexandra and Katerina come from an old business family, so they were literally born into serious money. Money that they got a fair bit of when their wealthy father Johan, who owns the investment company Ferd AS, made the decision to issue 42.2% ownership stake each to none other than his only two daughters, Alexandra, who's currently 24, and her older sister Katerina, who is 25. The decision was made 13 years ago in 2007, so the sisters have been in their own money before they even became teenagers, and while they didn't immediately become billionaires, they got mega stakes in their father's company Ferd, which means journey in Norwegian. They also have shares in a number of profitable ventures that grew in value to the point where in 2016, the siblings' 42% ownership stakes each were valued at $1.2 billion by Forbes, propelling Alexandra and her sister Katerina into the Billionaires Club, while also making Alexandra the youngest billionaire in the world at that time. Quite a shorter journey than most into the mega wealthy club, showing the obscure fact which you may not have noticed, that being born into a wealthy family is very valuable as far as head starts go. The younger Andreessen enjoys equestrian activities and dotes on her horses, while the other one is more into fashion and maintains a fine collection of designer shoes. Next, we have Gustav Magnar Witso, worth $2.3 billion at only 27. This is a guy involved in some fishy business. Forbes describes the source of 27-year-old Norwegian Gustav Witso's $2.5 billion as fish farming, and he really did catch something big when nearly half of SalMar ASA ownership stakes were transferred to him at 19 by his dad to avoid what some say a huge inheritance tax. SalMar ASA, a salmon fishing company, was founded by Gustav's father, who coincidentally is also called Gustav. With SalMar ASA at the forefront of the industrialization of fish farming in Norway and making huge gains in the process, Gustav's 47% stake was valuable enough by 2016 to reach the $1 billion mark and put him in the ranks of the world's youngest billionaires, where he has remained ever since. Gustav's father still sees to the running of the company, allowing the younger Gustav to devote his energy elsewhere and try his hand at other things not fishy, which include modeling, investing in real estate, as well as tech startups, among other things as well. Next on our list is one for the papers. Elizabeth Furtwanger, the 28-year-old daughter of German publishing mogul Herbert Berda, whose media group, rather imaginatively named Herbert Berda Media, publishes such titles as the German edition of Playboy and Elle, in addition to other German-language titles, while having over 600 media products spread across more than 20 countries. Elizabeth and her older brother Jack were each given 37.2% ownership stakes in their father's media company, and as you may imagine, that turned out to be quite handy on their way to billionaire status, as those shares became valuable enough for her to debut in the 2020 billionaire list, with a net worth estimated by Forbes at a decent $1.2 billion. Elizabeth currently serves on the board of directors of her father's media group, along with her brother Jack, and has said elsewhere that she's insanely proud of her father, as we all would be of anyone who built a mega fortune like that. Coming in next on the youngest billionaires list is a guy whose surname aptly rhymes with work. The question of just how much work he puts in to achieve his net worth of $2 billion is, however, still open, as Jonathan Quoke, who's far from being your average Joe, along with his older brother Jeffrey, inherited their father Walter Quoke's stakes in Sun Hung Kai Properties, of which he was also once the chairman of, upon his passing. Sun Hung Kai Properties are Hong Kong's largest real estate developers, and as we all know, Hong Kong is an investment hotbed with plenty of cash flow. This kind of combination usually turns out very profitable, and it really wasn't much of a surprise when his share in the company became valuable enough in 2019 to push him near the top of the young billionaire list at over $2 billion. For the next spot on the list, we have a guy with a very regular-sounding name of John Collison, who sounds like he might just be your next-door neighbor in a small, sleepy town. However, while his name sounds regular, and he is indeed from a small town, it would be stretching the facts a little bit to describe his $3.2 billion net worth as regular. John Collison and his older brother Patrick set the wheels rolling towards their big payday when they jointly founded the payment company Stripe. Stripe is a company that provides a place for individuals and businesses to make and receive payments over the internet. The company has seen its value rapidly increase, and in the process, the brothers' net worth steadily grew until they debuted in the Forbes billionaire list in March 2017, where they have remained ever since. John, who was raised in a small village in Ireland along with his brother, went to Harvard where he dropped out and decided to start competing against his brother in coding from a young age. He is not only amongst the world's youngest billionaires, but he also pulls in the subcategory of self-made billionaire, which is a decent feat by any standard. Next on the list is someone who with a snap made a mega fortune appear. Evan Spiegel, who made his debut in the Billionaires list in 2015, a year in which he was also the youngest billionaire in the world, is currently worth a cool $1.9 billion, and he majorly has his company Snap to thank for that. Snap, which is a social media company responsible for Snapchat, where you get to send messages that disappear after a while, was co-founded by Evans along with Bobby Murphy, where it is still run by them both. Even to this day, they both hold a lot of stakes in the company. The two founders own around 36% of Snap, which is now publicly traded, and Evans still runs the company as CEO. Mr. Spiegel holds both an American and French citizenship, which he acquired in 2018, taking advantage of a clause that allows the citizenship process to be fast-tracked for individuals who contribute to the French culture and economy. You kind of have to agree that having a billionaire investor in the economy can turn out pretty handy, right? Next is a man who at 29 is Brazil's youngest billionaire who made his $1.1 billion fortune in the quickest and least complicated way possible. He inherited it from his father, Edson de Godoy Bueno, who was Brazil's biggest healthcare billionaire. At the time of his death at 73, he left most of his fortune to his children Pedro and his sister Camila. The two of them, a bit unsurprisingly, consequently became billionaires after a while. Pedro is currently the CEO of Brazilian firm Diagnósticos da América S.A., which, as you may have guessed from the name, specializes in medical diagnostic services and used to be owned by Edson de Godoy Bueno before his son took over the operations. DASA saw its already valuable shares triple over the past year, something which was enough to see its CEO make his debut on the billionaire list in 2020. While 29 isn't as young as some of the other entries in this youngest billionaires list, it certainly isn't a bad age to make your first billion. The final name on this list is 29-year-old Lisa Droxelmeier, who's the oldest lady in the room before hitting 30. The descendant of an auto parts production family, Lisa now owns and is co-CEO, along with her father, of the German auto parts maker Fritz Droxelmeier Holding GmbH, which was founded by her grandparents. The company made sales in the region of $5.5 billion and makes a range of auto parts and interiors for its customers. Among the customers are some of the biggest players in the auto industry, with the likes of Audi, BMW, Cadillac, Land Rover, Maserati, Mercedes-Benz, Porsche, and Tesla, in addition to having a considerable international presence with more than 60 sites spread over more than 20 countries. Lisa Droxelmeier made her debut on the Forbes billionaire list in April 2020 and currently has a net worth of $1.2 billion, all before turning 30. Even though she is the eldest on this list, she is in no way old. Seeing her here on this list is something really impressive. So there you have it, the list of the 10 youngest billionaires in the world, and impressively, they are all under 30. 7 of them got their billions by inheritance, but 3 actually built their fortune up to their credit. Having a family to help you jumpstart your successes is a great beginning. For some, it is fantastic, and for others, it can be their downfall. The true testament for some of those on this list is if they are able to maintain their incredible wealth and even potentially increase it over the next decade. So if you're watching this now and you're interested in making money, or just simply being in a better position than you are now, make sure you model success and see what is already working. There is something to learn from everyone, and I hope that you take motivation and inspiration from this video after seeing some of the world's youngest billionaires. Thanks for watching.